The Tao Te Ching, verse 52. In the ancient text the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu we can see that each verse provides timeless wisdom on how we can bring peace and clarity into our daily lives. In this video series we will look at each chapter of the Tao Te Ching sequentially. First, let's listen to this verse of the poem, as beautifully translated by Stephen Mitchell, and then be prepared to delve into its deeper meaning. At the end of this video, we'll explore how this verse's wisdom can help us find peace in our daily lives, even in a chaotic world. The poem reads, In the beginning was the Tao. All things issue from it, all things return to it. To find the origin, trace back the manifestations. When you recognize the children and find the mother, you will be free of sorrow. If you close your mind in judgments and traffic with desires, your heart will be troubled. If you keep your mind from judging and aren't led by the senses, your heart will find peace. Seeing into darkness is clarity. Knowing how to yield is strength. Use your own light and return to the source of light. This is called practicing eternity. Here's a breakdown of the ideas. The origin is always present. In the beginning was the Tao. All things issue from it, all things return to it. The origin described here is not only a distant beginning in time but something immediately accessible in the present moment. The Tao exists before judgment, before desire, and before mental interference. To return to the source is not to withdraw from life, but to relax back into direct awareness, where experience is met without distortion or resistance. Tracing back is an act of attention. To find the origin, trace back the manifestations. Tracing back does not require intellectual analysis or abstract philosophy. It happens through steady attention to how thoughts, emotions, and desires arise in lived experience. When these movements are observed without being followed or suppressed, their insubstantial nature becomes clear, and the source from which they arise reveals itself naturally through stillness. Remembering the mother. When you recognize the children and find the mother, you will be free of sorrow. The children represent the many forms of experience, while the mother is their shared source. Sorrow arises when attention clings to forms and forgets what gives them life. When the source is remembered, forms can still be loved and loss can still be felt, but suffering softens because nothing essential is believed to be truly lost. Judgment and desire reduce awareness. If you close your mind in judgments and traffic with desires, your heart will be troubled. Judgment and desire are not condemned as moral failings but revealed as movements that narrow awareness. Judgment divides experience into rigid categories, while desire pulls attention away from the present toward imagined fulfillment. Together they create inner tension and restlessness, obscuring the natural ease of the heart. The peace of non-judgment. If you keep your mind from judging, and aren't led by the senses, your heart will find peace. Peace does not arise through control or suppression, but through non-interference. Sensory experience continues, yet it no longer dominates awareness. When sensations, thoughts, and emotions are allowed to arise and pass without grasping or resistance, the heart settles naturally into quiet clarity. Clarity includes embracing the darkness. Seeing into darkness is clarity. Darkness refers to uncertainty, the unknown, and what cannot be fully explained or controlled. True clarity is not the elimination of darkness, but the ability to remain present within it. This form of clarity expresses humility and trust, allowing awareness to remain steady without demanding certainty. Yielding is a form of strength. Knowing how to yield is strength. Yielding is not weakness or passivity but alignment with the natural flow of life. By responding rather than opposing, energy is conserved and action becomes more effective. Like water, yielding adapts, endures, and continues without exhausting itself in unnecessary struggle. Using light without clinging to it. Use your own light and return to the source of light. The light referred to here is awareness itself, the capacity for insight and discernment. This light is meant to be used, not possessed as an identity or achievement. Once clarity has fulfilled its function, awareness is allowed to rest back in its source, free even from attachment to wisdom. Practicing eternity in daily life. This is called practicing eternity. Eternity here does not mean endless time, but timeless presence. To practice eternity is to live rooted in what does not change while fully participating in the movements of daily life. Actions still occur and challenges still arise, but we are no longer lost in judgment, desire, or fear, moving instead in quiet alignment with the Tao. Overall meaning. Chapter 52 reminds us that all things arise from the Tao, and return to it. By letting go of judgment and desire, embracing uncertainty, and yielding rather than resisting, we reconnect with the source behind all experience. Living from this perspective brings clarity, peace, and alignment with what is timeless. What are your thoughts on this verse? Are there any of these ideas that you particularly like? Let me know in the comments below. Applying these ideas. How can we apply these ideas in our everyday lives? When stressed by daily challenges, remind yourself that all situations are temporary and part of a larger flow. Pause, take a breath, and let events pass naturally instead of clinging. When making a decision, look at the underlying principles or values behind it, not just the immediate outcome. When a relationship or job situation causes disappointment, step back and see it as an expression of how life functions rather than a permanent loss. Practice compassion by remembering everyone is influenced by circumstances beyond their control. When something triggers you, an email, a comment, a problem, pause just long enough to feel your breath before responding. Let the first impulse pass, then act from clarity rather than reaction. Practice mindful eating. Notice taste, texture, and aroma without labeling food as good or bad. When facing uncertainty at work or in life, resist the urge to overplan. Instead, gather what you can and take small steps, trusting you'll adapt. Meditate in silence, letting thoughts and worries arise without needing immediate answers. When a plan changes unexpectedly, adjust gracefully instead of resisting. Find alternative ways forward. After learning a new skill, don't obsess over mastery or recognition. Practice, enjoy, and let it flow naturally. Choose something you do every day, walking the dog, washing dishes, making tea, and do it as if it has never happened before. No rushing, no mental commentary, no goal beyond the act itself. Take moments throughout the day to pause, breathe, and reconnect with the present, feeling part of a bigger flow of life. Can you think of any more practical applications of Lao Tzu's ideas? Comment below. If you've enjoyed this series so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. The takeaway message. If you take one message from this verse, it is this. When you stop clinging to the many and return to the one, the heart becomes still. Chapter 52 teaches that confusion and sorrow arise when we lose ourselves in appearances, desires, and judgments. By tracing experience back to its source, the Tao, we rediscover a deeper stability that is always present beneath change. The practice is not to escape life, but to live from the quiet place where nothing is missing. By using awareness without clinging to it, and returning to the source of light itself, we live in harmony with what is timeless. This is the practice of eternity. Thanks for watching.